Good day, Chief here for Chief Coffee Chats. Hopefully I'm in focus. I know my last video that I did on Friday, I was entirely out of focus. I played with the camera. And today I made a test video, so hopefully I'm still in focus. I've done the same thing that I did with my test video. Like I said, I'm looking at the tracker, it's tracking on me, but my test video came out with me in focus, maybe, and I was moving back and forth and sideways. So hopefully it stays in focus. I hope it does. This is going to be part 2 because, yes, I don't have that big of a following, but I got like 19 views in less than a week, which is pretty good for one of my videos. I watched a few other individuals and they all say the same thing. Most of them are, they're all bachelors. And they all say the same thing: don't get married, don't lose half your stuff, and don't have children. Now, I was told as a warrant officer, Chief, if you got a problem, you need to come up with a solution before you can talk about that problem. One guy said, oh yeah, I talk about men's mental health, but his example for men's mental health was stay away from these babbling females so you don't listen to it. That was his men's mental health cure. Not much for mental health. Now, the problem that we have is that one solution does not fit all. I have my solution. Oh, and by the way, Chief doesn't think those thoughts anymore. Yes, I thought those a couple times throughout my lifetime and everything. I always picked myself up. And then now I have something that's worth living for. It's just that she's stuck in Ukraine right now. Hopefully the war will end soon. I'll stop there before I commit myself to something. So my solution was, I did try to date while I was an enlisted and a officer, and I just couldn't find anybody. Most of the women I met had children or teenagers. The older I got, and then their teenage, all they could talk about was their teenage, or what their teenagers were doing, and all the trouble that they were in. Just what I want to marry into. No, not really. So the adage is that you don't marry another man's, or don't father another man's son. If you can catch them early enough, that would be fine, because my experience was I found the site back in 2008. So yeah, I've been on this site. Not active, but I was a fool at first and spent hundreds of dollars wasting money. And then I finally decided that find a girl, write the girl, tell her I want to come see her and see if she's willing to meet me at the airport and or a hotel if she doesn't want to meet me at the airport for dinner. Well, I met one and we got engaged right off the bat. She wanted to come home to America, my very first trip. She said, I'll even be like a doll and, fly in the seat next to you. And I just chuckled at that. But everything went downhill after we got engaged. It was just like, well, she had pressure from her father. Her father didn't want her to marry a foreigner, let alone an American, and plus move to America, and plus marry an older gentleman. Because I am a gentleman. So that one went downhill mostly due to her father's pressure. But one year I did not go over to see her. I said, well, why don't you come to America for a visit? And since it's more expensive to fly from there to here and back, trust me, I checked the prices. It was almost double the prices that I could get for flights. And so I started sending her some money, but she got it in her head that, oh no, I don't have to go to Kiev to get my visa. Yeah, you do. You have to show up in person with your passport to get your visitor's visa. No, there's an agency that does that for me. We went around and around and finally I just said, okay, you're not coming. Well, come to find out that was the year that she cheated on me. And she delivered a baby boy. So the following year, now I didn't know this, didn't notice at the time, because I said, well, just save the money for my next trip. Oh, I already spent it. I'll tell you when you get over here. Meaning she was using my money to help with her doctor's appointments and probably the birth of her son. So she begged me early the following year, I want you to come this time in May for 17 days. How about 14 days? No, 17 days. And I need you to rent this place. And this place was really nice. It was downtown, more expensive than a hotel since it was a private residence because they rent out flats. And this flat was popular because people would go there just to get away from their houses in Kharkiv. Because a couple people I talked to, oh yeah, I've spent time in this place. And I'm like, oh really? Yeah, it's a nice getaway. It got more expensive, this place did, and then the quality of the place went down because one year I couldn't sleep in the master bedroom because they had a water leak up above and they were still going through the process of taking care of that. But it had a gas burning stove, which I miss. It's on the first floor because over in Europe, ground floor, first floor. So I was on the first floor and I could look down the main street that went down the middle of Kharkiv. And I people watch. I like to people watch. So she begged me to come for 17 days and that we were going to live together. Well, of course, she had her baby and she didn't have the heart to tell me that. So when I finally got there, her cousin said, she doesn't want to come. And I said, well, that's okay. It's her loss. I was having the time of my life being where I was. So went back the following year when it went up in price and went down in quality. Didn't know that at the time. And met another girl, went over to see another girl after started writing her, and she said, okay, come again next year, we'll see. And so we exchanged email. That way I'm not spending all this money on credits and letters. Save money finally. Well, kept getting, well, I'm taking English classes. English is so hard to learn, and I'm so old. And I'm like, no, you're not that old. So about a month before I was flying over, I already made all my arrangements. I already had this flat reserved again. Had the time of my life again. She didn't want to show up. So then she wigged out, and then that year, I was like, okay, I always do a layover in Kiev, and I got tired of doing an overnight layover because I'd get there late, sleep, and wake up early so I can catch a 6 o'clock flight. So I was like, I'm tired of doing that. So I took a couple days in Kiev. So I'm like, okay, who can I meet in Kiev? So I got on the net or online with the dating site and found this female had been writing me January that year. We are almost in June. And I would look at her letter, read her letter, and I'd look at the free photo. It's on my computer. I know she doesn't look like that in real life because these are professional pictures. So I wasn't expecting to find, the goddess that she is. So I wrote her, and within 2 hours, I had a reply. Yes, come visit. Let's go out to dinner. Blah, 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 blah. So we met. We fell in love, and now we're at where we're at. Meanwhile, I get home, and then, of course, all the other stuff hits. The pandemic we can't talk about. That happens. That keeps us apart, except when I can travel. And we were trying to get married over there, but due to the pandemic, they changed all the rules, but that's a different story. So one of the Christmases that I'm spending over here, the second blonde, her parents were divorced and her mother had married an American and they live on the East Coast. So in between Christmas and New Year, I was just checking the internet or checking on the dating site, and number 2 blonde was like, hey, I'm here, come visit. I'm like, oh, I'm just supposed to drop everything I got planned between Christmas and New Year, hop in my car, hop on a flight, and yeah, come see you. I didn't reply. She's contacted me a couple other times like, I've changed. I'm like, okay, whatever. So that was my solution. Like I said, I tried American Women, didn't work out. Now, when this comes to all this numbering crap on the street, what do you think you are? Combined, I'm a 10. And one of the best lessons I learned was from my mother, and that is to listen to women. So here is one thing to help you gentlemen. your women folk like to release everything into the cosmos, so to speak. They want to talk about their troubles, but don't give them solutions. So if she wants to talk, listen and set it up. Get on the opposite ends of the couch. Offer to make her tea. Offer to make her coffee. Ask her if she would like a foot rub while she talks. Women love foot rubs, so do we, but you're concentrating on her. You're showing her that you want to be with her. So let her rant, let her rave. She'll get rid of all that anger and frustration, and don't offer solutions. I mean, if she's having troubles with Bob and Sue, her best friend, and Bob at work, and blah, 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 don't offer solutions. Let her rant. And if she does ask you for a solution to her problem, don't throw it back in her face. Well, I understand that this is going on at work with Bob, or you're having troubles with Mary, your best friend, but what do you think you should do? Now you throw it back at her, and then all of a sudden she's going to start thinking, oh, okay, I should probably work this out myself, rather than giving her a solution. And if she does ask for a solution, don't give the manly answer. Well, with Bob at work, I would confront the guy and blah, blah, blah. That's you. You would confront the guy. She might have to go through HR to report the guy, for all you know, to solve that issue, whatever it might be. So that is one solution to the problem. I mean, you can get on the dating sites. You can go over and meet European women. You can see them on the street. You can do what I did if you don't want to do it. But there's a lot of men that were on this site at one time, and they were spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And the one site I was on, they used to have men from the USA and others, or other places, come over, and they would do a tour of 3 cities. They stopped that because I would watch the videos of those tours, and the men just showing up got smaller and smaller and smaller. And yep. So that is something you can do. It's not the perfect solution for everybody. You may be shy like I was as a child. I outgrew it. The older I got, the bolder I got. Just become bold. Approach women. Talk to them. I talk to women. I flirt with women all the time. I also flirt with men, so to speak. My dad was a talker. My mom was a talker. I'm a talker. And it's really surprising that I was so shy at a young age. So, rather than listening to these bachelors who claim they'll never get married again, like I said, there's going to be some woman that's going to rock their world, and they're going to be like, I want to get married, and what do I do for a living? I bash women all the time. Yeah, they may lose that woman that rocks their world. It appears I'm still in focus. I hope I am. So, instead of don't get married, don't have kids. Men want kids. We want our legacy to live on. And don't lose half your stuff. Just take your time. Make sure that make sure that she is the right woman. It may take a few. I've broken up with a few females, and a few have broken up with me. I've gone through 2 divorces. And I'll tell you, being a single parent, but even before that, my first marriage, I did all the housework. Trust me. I married my first wife was a slob. I knew she was a slob, but I didn't think she was that big of a slob. But that wasn't the reason why we split. A heck of a reason to split. Oh, you're a slob, so I'm going, well, women probably nowadays say that. But take your time. Like I said, if they want to talk, put them in a comfortable position on the couch, opposite ends. Make tea, make coffee, rub their feet, listen to them, leave, and make the rule. Well, if we're going to talk, cell phones go to the side. If I could go in the past and destroy one invention, it would be the cell phone. I hate phones to begin with. I have all my life. So I'm going to end it here with this discussion. Yes, this is part 2. I'm going to label it the same thing as don't get married, don't lose half your stuff, and don't have children, part 2. But I'm going to end it. And Chief is fine. I love life. Everybody should. And I'm like my father. The older I get, the more I tear up when someone younger dies. So, leave us on a happy note. Freedom is not free. Pray for Ukraine. I know a lot of Americans don't think we should be over there, but remember, Putin wants the Russian Empire back. It has to stop. So, you know what to do with the vet. Hug them, kiss them, and remember, some vets are female, so you know what to do with them too. Chief out.